What is going on? Matt O'Leary here with another video. Today, what I want to get into is a silly narrative put out there by the Draft Network. I usually like their coverage during draft time, using them for mock draft simulators and just mock drafts and prospect breakdowns and stuff like that. It's a very useful tool, but do not agree whatsoever with this take that they put out there on Jermaine Johnson. He was a rookie with the New York Jets last year. Obviously, the Jets traded up to grab him in the first round after selecting Garrett Wilson at pick 10 and Sauce Gardner all the way up at pick 4. The Draft Network wrote an article saying that this is a make or break season for Jermaine Johnson in year 2 because they drafted Will McDonald. Why? In what world is this a make or break season for the second year player? He is in no way, shape, or form he could have a direct replicate of his rookie season. Not that I think that he will. I think his role will increase a little bit. He will be on the roster in 2024. That to me has nothing to do with his second season in 2023 being a make or break season. I'm sorry, I don't get it. And Jermaine Johnson quote tweeted it and had the best reaction. He goes, LMAO, make or break. Bro, please do your homework. I played about 23% of the snaps due to depth and very limited third down opportunities. And what I did with those snaps was impressive to say the least. It's no question with more snaps, I'm productive. I'll earn it like always. Take care. Now, love the response. He's frustrated by it because it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous narrative. It's a silly narrative. And Johnson led all first round defensive ends in pressure rate, quarterback hit rate, and sack rate. So that shows that he was productive with the time that he was given. He just wasn't given that much time. Pro Football Reference gave him 34% of snaps. I'm assuming that 23 is probably from PFF. Should have looked that up before I started the video. But moral of the story, he didn't play a ton of defensive snaps last year for the New York Jets, which is kind of expected because they rotate guys like crazy. And they are going to rotate guys again this year. So I would think he gets a slight uptick. I think he's probably closer to 40, but it's not necessarily the same guy or the same area as someone like a George Karlaftis, who I like George Karlaftis. If you remember back in the day, going into the 2022 draft, he was someone that I wanted the Jets to go after. And he had a more productive season because he had more sacks. He had like 6 or 7 sacks last year. And people look at that and go, oh my God, clearly the better player. And while, again, I like George, it's missing some of the context that he wasn't playing nearly enough because of the guys in front of him. And the article references John Franklin Myers and Carl Lawson. Like Carl Lawson, there's a good chance he's not on the team next year. John Franklin Myers is someone who does play on the outside and they like him a lot, but they can kick him inside and there's no guarantee that he's on the roster in 2024. So it really has nothing to do with that. There's a strong chance that Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald, both of those guys are the future at the position. Sure, you have rotational players like Bryce Huff. And right now, I guess they're technically being blocked by Carl Lawson and JFM. But once again, with the amount that they rotate, they want those guys on the defensive line. And they're going to play him a ton. They are going to be utilized. And he wasn't put in the best circumstances to succeed because he wasn't given the third down pass rush snaps. He wasn't. He was, though, to his credit, excellent against the run. Excellent against the run. So at a bare minimum, I think going forward, when he starts to play a more regular role, I don't know if he's ever going to be a 10-sack guy, which is okay. Maybe he is, and that would be fantastic. You obviously take that, but can he be that maybe 6, 7-sack a guy a year who is just excellent against the run? You need guys like that in your roster. Not everyone could be pin your ears back and go. And sure, Robert Saleh likes to do that a lot, but not everyone's going to be Bryce Huff screaming off the edge, or someone who's going to give you a monster sack season, or Carl Lawson for instance. But he's a very useful piece on this defense and will be going forward. Make or break year was downright shocking to me. And maybe it's because we saw how good Sauce Gardner was in the NFL right away. He played a huge role on the New York Jets, played a ton of snaps, was Defensive Player of the Year, was a Pro Bowler, All-Pro, all that stuff. And Garrett Wilson popped off for over 1,100 yards in his rookie year, and he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. And you see those two guys in the first round, and Jermaine kind of took a backseat to it because, number one, those guys took significantly more of the spotlight due to their production, which is fine, but that's such an outlier. Like, these guys take time, especially edge rushers too. they don't come in and usually pop right away. Sure, maybe like the guys who are picked in the top 5, top 10 come in and are really good right away, but it takes time. That is a position that usually takes a few years before they really get going. And I don't know, to call it a make or break season for Jermaine Johnson for me is way too much of a stretch. He was good last year. I expect him to be good this year. I expect him to get more snaps this year, and he will be a part of this team going forward. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. I am Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you next time.